Harry and Jack, welcome to the Charles Owen podcast. Now, obviously, both of you have got something in common, the fact you've got very famous show jumping dads who are massive names in the sport. Now, Harry, your dad won gold back in 2012.
I just turned 13, in that summer as well. So it's quite a cool summer for me.
What do you remember about that event?
To be honest, we watched the first day in the stands, and the first day actually didn't go as good as he'd hoped. And I was with my mum, who is the worst person to watch any jumping with, especially when it's like part of a family. She's so nervy. We're like grabbing hold of me. So we did. My mum would refuse to watch it again in the stands. So we were quite young. Unfortunately, we had to watch it in the I don't even know where it was. It was in the stadium, but it wasn't live. It was on the TV. We watched the final round. When he jumped clear, it was like champagne flying everywhere. They kind of like prepared for it a bit in there, so it's quite cool. And then we managed to get to see him at the end. We ran out and into the collecting ring, but it was an amazing day. I remember it very clearly still. I wish I was a little bit older so I could have maybe realised how big it was a bit more. I'd have really not appreciated it more because I did then, but I'd have thought it was a lot cooler maybe. But
do you think the fact that you're competing at your dad's level, that has given you more appreciation of what an amazing feat it was?
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think I'm competing at his level just yet. But it definitely going to some of the top shows now. It makes me realise how hard it is, and it gives me a lot more respect for how when you win, the work that goes into it and stuff. And yeah, definitely. Turning
to you, Jack. Now, your dad, obviously, one of the founding members of the Whitaker clan. And I remember watching your dad when I was a little girl. I was like a proper, posters on the wall, signed for, autographs. And, what was it like having, I mean, obviously, I know he's your dad, but, the word legend is banded around a lot. But, John and Michael are legends in show jumping, undoubtedly. And the fact that you've now got this crazy, massive, huge show jumping dynasty is quite unique in show jumping. What would you say is the best thing about being part of this phenomena, and what is the worst?
The best thing probably is just the because we've got such a big family and we all ride. Like, it's not just my dad and John that are very good riders. There's like, I would say that they all ride to a pretty high level. So it's just it's a greite feeling having, like, whatever show you're at, really. One of us there's gonna be more than one of you there nearly. So if you ever need a hand or anything, they're there to help. And tomorrow we have great fun with each other, and like we're always there to help, and it's just a great feeling to have that backup, really. I think I'm very appreciative of that, because I wouldn't like to have such a big help like that. It'd be I think a lot of people would like that.
Were you aware when you were young, when you were like a teenager, or when you were competing at shows, that people would be like, oh, that's Michael Whitaker's son, or it's Peter Charles's son? Were you aware of that? Did that go on?
I was never really that aware of it. I think I understood that people would maybe watch me a bit more, but I never really was aware of anybody saying that kind of stuff. But I guess a bit more as you get a bit older now, and I've been around a little bit more now. It gets a little bit less as well. But I think a couple of years ago, when I was just starting to do a few more bigger shows, or a few more international shows, maybe then, like the commentator would say it maybe and stuff like you'd hear that. But apart from that, you try not to think about it too much either. Like, you're your own rider as well, and you got to make your own way of it.
And what about you, Harry? Do you feel the pressure? Peter Charles. But how many times have you heard, Olympic gold medalist Peter Charles's son?
Yeah, I heard it, especially when I was in ponies and coming up. I heard it a lot. Now I have to say maybe not as much, which is kind of good in a way. Like Jack said, I think we need now to be we're our own riders, and we're our own person now. So as I've gone on, I think through it's become less and less, and I think that's natural. But definitely when I was younger, I heard it was a lot, and I heard it a lot, and obviously a bit of pressure comes with that. But I'd never minded it, to be honest.
Do you feel you need to prove you've got something even more to prove because of that? Your heritage.
I think having that gives you something. Maybe it puts an added weight on your shoulders to prove yourself more than if you didn't have that. So definitely, because me and Jack, we would have maybe a lot of help. A lot of other kids wouldn't get, and we're very lucky for that. So I feel we maybe had to prove it a little bit more than others.
And I mean, you said already, you mentioned kind of the hard work, and I know how hard you guys work. I mean, it can seem very glamorous. And I mean, Jack, I've been to your yard and I've actually interviewed your dad on my own podcast, and you know, and I've seen what it involves, and also how ordinary, you know, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but how ordinary your yard is. It's just, you know, they're just all getting on with your job. And what would you say to people that might think or might say that the only reason you guys are where you are now is because you're from the Charles family, you're from the Whitaker family, and because you've got that kind of backing and the kind of horses you must get access to? What would you say to that?
Well, I'd tell them to bugger off.
And then what would you say?
I think we do. I think I'd say the same for Harry as well. Like, I'd say nobody can put as much pressure on ourselves than we do. I think really. So to aim for that, I think the amount of work we put in just to aim for them to reach them goals, I think, is massive. And also as well, the amount of different horses we ride and all the horses, like, because like I've got a nice group of horses now. Harry's got a nice group of horses now. Like, it takes a lot to get them kind of horses and the way you want to be. And like we're always like, you've got to try every single horse. Every horse that comes through your yard, you've got to ride, get to know it, feel it. If it's not good enough, then you move it on. If not, then you try to get to know it even more. You know, it's a big it's a program nearly with the horses. Just with the ones you want to ride, and then it's also the ones as well that come through your yard and it don't quite work out. The amount of horses you have to go through just to get the right ones is just a big hard work in itself.
And also, I know that Jack, I read that you were your very first showjumping pony you produced yourself. So you were given a 5-year-old when you were just 9, and you produced that yourself through the levels. Is that right?
Yeah, Zodi and Van der Dovenbury. It was a right good pony, actually. We ended up going to win gold on the teams with that.
Absolutely,
Actually, I had to tell we Europeans there. First day was bad. The rest of it, I was clear throughout the rest of it, so I didn't qualify for the individual final. But I got that pony when it was 5. And yeah, basically brought she did JC everywhere. She did the JC at Hickstead. I think she was 3rd there. She did the newcomers at Horsier Show, the Foxhunter Horsier Show, the J8 Horsier Show. She did everything. That was probably the pony that taught me the most, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one I did. Like, I did everything with her.
And what about you, Harry? What was kind of your first memorable show jumping pony?
My first memorable, probably a pony called Headmore Little Lightning. We bought her when she was 5 as well, actually. I was only 10, and I started riding her when she was a 6-year-old. She was a 1 to 8, so I was very young then. And she was always amazingly careful. And at the time, then we were lucky enough to have 2 other ponies called Flaneur Songbird and Matthews Girl. And they were actually 2 quite well-known ponies in the UK, and they were very successful. But Little Lightning was one I kind of produced a bit myself when I was really young, and she ended up winning every big class when I was 12, every Grand Prix, and she went on with my sister to do the same and everything. So she was probably my most memorable pony. Good
family pony.
And she's still going, I think, with James Fisher's little daughter now.
Oh, so, fantastic!
Yeah, she was an amazing pony for all of our family, actually.
And so now, I mean, you're both. I mean, Jack, you're competing against your dad now. Harry, you've competed against your dad. I mean, how does that feel?
It's the dream coming true for me. I think the biggest thing I'd want to do is jump on a team with my dad, with John or with anyone in the family. Like, I think that was, like, he keeps talking about retiring, but like he like says it, but he don't really mean it. But he says you can't retire until you jump on a team together. So I think we're trying. So yeah, but obviously there's a big competitive side as well. Like he wouldn't ever let me just win, you know. I wouldn't try and let him win either.
So no, and funny, I was going to ask Harry. I'll ask you this question because I know that you beat your dad in the Welsh Masters when you were just 16, didn't you?
Yeah.
which is just crazy. So I'm really curious to know, was it just you and him in the jump off?
No, there was about 8 of us in the jump off, I think.
But he went before you, right?
He was before me, and I was second last to go, I think. I remember it quite well because I jumped that class 1 year before, and I always used to think it was like, I still think it is a very big class to win in England.
It is. It's a really big class.
And it was one of my second years doing it, and I can't remember the horse. It was his Stapleton Miss, and he was really quick. And then I had a little horse called Contro, who actually Sienna's riding now, and he's been probably one of my best horses I had. It was my first year on him, and I kind of just went. I didn't go that fast. He was such a quick horse, and I won it, and it was quite funny.
So, what did your dad? I'm curious to know. So, you both went clear, and then you see the jump off course, and obviously your dad's trying to focus because he's about to jump. Was he at the same time telling you what to do?
Yeah, as soon as he came out of the ring, he got off straight off his horse and warmed me up and told me how to beat him and stuff.
Bless him. So what you were to jump after him, did he say to you, right, I've just done it, here's how you can cut some corners?
He did tell me not to do one turn that I did, but he did it. He didn't think I'd be like ready for it. But
oh, really? So he was like...
he said you shouldn't do this turn, it's a bit too tight for you and you don't know the horse that well. So
and you did it anyway.
You know what you were doing.
I did it anyway. I did it. I know one, so he couldn't have been too mad. If I got it wrong, you probably would have been a bit angry, but luckily we didn't.
So that's quite interesting, isn't it? Because I was going to ask you both that, because obviously your dads are so important in what you do, and they're your trainers, aren't they? Right? Your dads are your trainers.
Yeah.
So are there points where you don't agree, and are you allowed to have that, or is it kind of what they say goes, or is there somewhere you can say, no, Dad, actually, you know what, I don't know, I'm going to do this, and is that okay?
Me and my dad, we have a fantastic relationship, and I think it's definitely a conversation, you know. Like I think his word goes in the very, very end, but it's like he's very if I have a different idea, he runs with it, and if he has a different idea, it's a working relationship, you know. It's not like not like a one way street.
What about you, Harry?
Yeah, we get on very good, and I think we agree on nearly everything. Of course, maybe with one horse we might have a little bit of a different opinion on what was maybe best. But at the end of the day, I think he knows I'm the one riding the horse. So if I want something different, he respects that, and he'll let me have it how I want. But I'd listen to him above anyone else anyway.
Sure, absolutely. And I mean, also for Jack, it's not just your dad. You've got your Uncle John, and then you've got your nephews, Ellen, Robert, William, Joe, to name a few. There's loads of them. I'm sure, obviously, you're competitive with each other. Is there kind of, is it like a sort of playful competition between you? How serious does it get?
We all want to beat each other. Like, it's not like we're not gonna but it is very playful as well. You know, we don't mind if my cousin beat me, I wouldn't I'd rather him beat me than anybody else. You know.
Yes, but you still want to beat them.
Obviously, yeah, 100%. I want to beat them every time. But if anybody's going to beat me, I'm glad it's them and not anybody else, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I asked your dad this question. I've asked it to you. I asked him who was the hardest working Whitaker.
Who was the hardest working? He'd probably say himself, to be honest. Him or John.
He said they were all hard working. He said nothing comes easy, and you're all hard working.
Especially for them, like up in Yorkshire, I think it's tough. Like I probably got a bit nicer down here. It's not as cold. Like up in Yorkshire, where Johnny's there still and Will, and like it's bloody freezing cold up there. Oops, sorry.
That's all right.
It's very, very freezing cold up
there. I think we can say that. That's all right. We asked him who was the biggest joker.
Biggest joker? There'd be a few. Biggest joker. I mean, it's very, very difficult because they're all very funny as well. Like Will Whitaker, he's very funny.
Yeah, so I've interviewed him a few times.
Tom and Don and George and Jim, it's very difficult to pick one.
Your dad said Stephen.
Yeah, Stephen. Yeah, Stephen's but Stephen was like a proper joker. Like he'd be like harmful joking nearly, you know, like pranks that nearly hurt you. But he's very funny still.
And who's the biggest partier? Who's going to be the last at the bar?
I know, probably my dad. My dad.
No, that's what I said. I said to him, that's what I said. It used to be Michael, and he was like, oh no, not anymore. He must admit, he did slightly skirt around that question. And who's the most opinionated?
Most opinionated?
Yeah.
Probably John, actually.
Oh, really? That's interesting because he seems so. Yeah, he seems very quiet.
He's not bad about it at all, but he's very set in his ways, you know. He's just his way, you know. You couldn't really tell him.
Yes. Okay, that's interesting. And if you're all together, who would you say is there someone particularly like a natural leader, like a natural person that would take charge of a situation?
Yeah, probably Stephen. He's a lot like that. Like we all used to go. Like he always used to organise on Boxing Day after Christmas. He always used to organise a big party there for all of us. We always go down there. And then probably Stephen twice the most out of a lot of us. And
Harry, obviously, you've got your two sisters also compete, Sienna and Scarlett. Are they younger than you? Is that right?
Both younger. Scarlett is 19, soon to be 20 actually, and Sienna's 18.
Also competing.
Oh, yeah, all three of us.
Yeah. So
We're all quite close together as well, which makes it quite hard for trying to find horses.
I was going to say, well, funny if I literally was going to say, how do you decide who gets what horses?
Well, I'm always there when one comes off the truck, so normally I've got the saddle ready and jump straight on.
Why are you always there? You make sure you are.
Yeah, because I've missed one or two good ones because Sienna's beat me to it, but I make sure now I'm always around when one gets got off to the yard. No, but not. To be honest, it's nearly what horse is most suited to which rider. And the girls now have left school. I normally did get a pick of a bunch because I was going to shows nearly every week, and the girls were still in school, so I normally got a lot more than the girls. But now we're all full time, spread out a lot more. So.
Is it jump down to your dad? The ultimate sort of decision comes down to him, or do you sort of work it out between yourselves?
Pretty much him. He decides it, but I feel bad now. Like sometimes I feel like I'm nicking them off the girls sometimes. So I've given a few back, and we swap them around. But I feel
you don't feel bad.
Yeah.
And so, what I was going to ask you of each other's horses, is there a particular horse, Jack, you'd like to nick of Harry, or Harry vice versa?
I'd take Jack's grey one from him. Valmy.
Oh, yeah. So hang on, but Jack, so that is yours now, because that was your dad's, right? And he's got big expectations for this horse, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So
well, basically, during COVID, he had a horse, got a new horse here, and it was a bit fat, and it was quite a good jumper, actually. And he actually popped his groin, and it jumped, and it half cocked him. And so he couldn't ride, and Valmy's a bit sharp to get on sometimes, so like he couldn't be a bit slow. So I started riding it, and basically never stopped.
Wow, that's exciting, because I know when I interviewed your dad, he was, he said he hadn't owned a horse like that in a long time. So wow, I'm not surprised you want that, Harry.
Yeah, I'd like to have a go on that. I'd like to have a go on Ireland Blue, or that Iranice. Iranice would be a good one to have a go on. Ireland Blue, I like though. I remember seeing that as a young one as well, and then watching Harry with it there recently.
Two nice ones.
Most people could only dream of having Peter Giles or Michael Whitaker as their trainers. What's the best piece of advice they've given you that you can pass on to us?
I would say don't worry too much, to be honest. Like I probably, when you have a bad round or anything, you probably worry like it's near the end of the world, but it's never is. Like my dad always, he's very relaxed. He's never a big stressor.
Yeah, he's very laid back.
Yeah, so I think when everything goes wrong, it's just carry on. Don't get your head down. Keep going.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a good thing you're not happy that it didn't go well, but you can't ever get too dumbed down by it, really.
And what about you, Harry?
My favourite personal one was you have to have the bad days to appreciate the good ones. So you have a few of them in this job, unfortunately, but
a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, a lot. So it makes the good ones even better when they come around. And
and I do realise sentiment, because it's really easy to get stuck on, isn't it? If you have a bad show, it's so easy just to dwell on it and go.
Get in a rut very
easy. Oh my God, yeah, can't you? Yeah. Well, funny if okay, I'm not quite your level, guys. Okay, but I was at competition at the weekend, and it was a qualifier for badminton. I do eventing. Badminton have a grassroots event, and I wanted to qualify for this for about 5 years, and I got this great horse, and we missed qualification by 0.8 of a penalty, and it's because I made one mistake in the dressage, right? And I really have struggled to move on. I mean, I just keep going over it and over it and over it. So how do you, when you make a mistake, I mean, and I'm sure you guys must have made mistakes that have cost you quite big. Can you think of an example where a mistake has cost you a big competition, right? And please tell me, because I'm really struggling to move on. How did you move on from it?
So, Jack, you're with me.
You can go first.
So, this one really was Jack was there, actually. I'm sure he'll remember. It was the European Championships 2017. And I went there. I've wanted to win individual gold. I knew I had the horse to do it. He's been very close 2 years before. I was third after the first day. And in the first round of the Nations Cup, I was over the time by 0.05 of a second. So I had one time fault. and I dropped back into third place. So I never lost a position, but I just knew for some reason that's going to hurt me when it comes to Sunday. And I ended up losing out gold medal by half a fault. And obviously I was happy to win an individual medal for that second, but I actually stood on that podium really annoyed. And I wouldn't forget that for it. A year later, a year later, I was in Young Riders, and I thought my chance had gone. Juniors.
Yes, that's the thing. Yes, yeah.
Maybe that horse was on his limit a bit in juniors.
Yeah.
I thought, we're going to win an individual gold in the youth champ. That was the year to do it, and I've screwed it up myself. I had no one else to blame. My horse, I didn't touch a pole all week. The next year came round. It was Young Riders European Championships, and I won individual gold that year. And I still did.
On your 19th birthday, right?
My 19th birthday, and it still stands in my head as I won. I'm a champion. So, it felt like I put it right from the year before. And
how did you put it behind you and carry on?
Oh, just from what, for the juniors or the young?
Yeah, well, when you missed out on gold by 0.5.
Yeah, the following year I was Young Riders in Fontainebleau, and I won individual gold by well over 2 fences. I won it by a long way, and that was, for me, I was delighted, and really that made me sure I put to rest my
yes
before, so I was delighted with that.
So you only really put your demons to rest when you got that gold.
It gave me a bit extra motivation as well for it, because I was like, I'm going to get one more shot to do this. It's going to be a bit difficult, a bit harder. Fences are a lot bigger, but I really rolled my sleeves up that week, and it made you more hungry in a way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I should focus on that, because I keep thinking I can qualify next year. I'm like, my horse isn't getting any younger, and I'm not getting any younger. So I've got to just think more hungry for next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thanks, Harry.
I think that's the way you got to take it as well, though, isn't it? You got to turn it into motivation before, in the end. Like, you can obviously worry about it for however many weeks and worry about it, but I think in the end it's got to turn into motivation. Otherwise, it's gonna eat you up. Like.
Yeah. And what's your experience of where you messed up and consequences are bad?
Plenty of time faults in Grand Prix. That was I could name plenty of them. A big one. What would be a big one? Trying to think. There's loads. There'd be loads. The 3-star Grand Prix in Canuck. So this is my first 3-star Grand Prix I ever jumped, and it was a big show. It was quite a big show, Canuck. Like, a lot of people watching. 3-star Grand Prix is quite a big deal. And I was on a horse called Iluka VE.
How old were you? When was this?
I was 17.
Okay.
Oh no, yeah, 17.
Last year, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so like this is the first year I started jumping 3-star Grand Prix, and anyway, this horse, it's a bit of a weird horse. Like, I've been trying to build up all year. Oh well, for the past few years, he's a bit of a strange horse. Like, he goes in a big hackamore, he's a bit awkward, but I've always believed him in a little bit, and this would be his biggest class. So and I was early to go. I think I was 3rd or 4th to go, and there's obviously no clears yet. And I was coming down to last fence, and as I say, he's an awkward horse. And so I was holding, but I got a bit clutchy to last fence. I was on the brakes. And but you normally like to run with him and just hold him when you get there. But because it was last fence, and I really wanted to jump clear. I was holding, and he just jumped out my hand. So, because I was holding so much, I didn't let him go. I ended up I was going to be too close, and he saw a stride that I should have been on, and he jumped out my hand. So I was holding on like this, and he basically just destroyed this fence, the last fence on the course. Oh my God! Like, I could have hung myself that day. That was it was a disaster. But there's loads of them, that's like I can't even remember half of them now, because you just got to try and forget about them,
Yeah.
But there's loads of situations like maybe not as bad as that, but like time faults and all them ones is like you've got to forget about them and turn, as you say, turn them into hunger to try.
That's one of the hardest things, letting go, I think. Yeah.
Harry, I want to ask you about something which I don't know if you want to talk about, so you can tell me to sod off if you don't want to talk about it. Which is it right so that you then lost your double gold because your horse tested positive? Is that right?
Yeah,
tested
that's correct.
Positive for
lidocaine.
Yeah. So can you just tell me about that?
Yeah, I'll happily talk about it. I still, I think the decision was completely taken incorrectly. So what lidocaine is a numbing agent found in a lot of, skincare products, things. We had a family friend who lives in France. She was visiting us at the championship. She lived very close to the venue, and unfortunately, she has got a quite advanced skin cancer. So she uses a cream on her hand. We really didn't think much of it. She was stroking the horse, and it took us a long time to figure out, how it got into the horse. And
Yeah, because trying to trace back is so hard, isn't it?
We had proved it to the FEI how it got into the system. We'd done many tests, and it was very accepted that that's how it got into the system, because the levels found were so low. It was proved by 4 or 5 doctors that the substance, it could have had no performance enhancing effect on the horse. The trace amount was too small. Also, it wasn't even a banned substance. It was a controlled medication. So it's actually allowed to be given if you have a veterinary note and stuff. But obviously we had no idea it would be in the horse. So it was really hard to take and accept that the FEI's rules are, if any substance, controlled medication or ban are with it in the horse, whether you put there on, you didn't put it there, and if you can prove how it got there, you still lose all the medals, prize money, everything.
Wow.
It's almost like a disqualification, which it's just, I think, it was a big wake up, I think, to a lot of people. A lot of actions have happened as a result of it, and I'm very happy actually that people are taking this a lot more seriously. Contamination. Me and my dad are on a committee working still with it, and I think hopefully in the near future now the rules will get changed.
So did you have your medals taken?
I did, after we spent nearly 6 months fighting it, and the rules were there in the end. We had to give the medals back, but for me, I still won it in my head, and all my team know I won it.
And we've kind of spoken a bit there about the hard times. Obviously, there's lots of amazing highs in your sport as well. You guys have won so much. Harry, I've got it written down here about how you've won sort of six European medals. Jack, you've also won team gold at European Championship 2015, individual gold in 2016. You've won so much between you, but it's not medals. There's also prizes you get, isn't there? There's cash. Aside from the money, what's the big class you'd like to win?
Aachen.
Really?
Yeah.
And is that because the money or the prestige?
Prestige, I think.
Even if I had no money, I'd still be one to win.
Wow. Yeah. And what about what's your favourite event in the UK?
UK.
Olympia.
Olympia or Windsor.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Windsor.
I've never jumped at Windsor.
I did it last year for the first time and I loved it. So, and obviously Olympia it's like the Christmas, it's the highlight of Christmas. So.
And Hickstead also is a very, very good. I love jumping at Hickstead, but I think the atmosphere you can't beat at Olympia. I think it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a special atmosphere. It's just everyone's tightly packed.
Yeah. And what about the Hickstead Derby, Jack? Obviously, your dad's won it. I can't remember now. Has he won it 3 times? Did he won it 3?
4 times.
Wow! And didn't he win it 3 consecutive years at the same horse?
Yeah, Monsanto.
I think my dad did that as well.
Yeah.
So how many times has your dad won it, Harry?
3. 2001, 2002, 2003.
Wow. So that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So surely you guys have got to have your eye on that prize, haven't you?
Definitely, yeah. When I find the right
yeah,
horse.
find the horse. Maybe me and Jack will share one. We'll swap it around at half.
Yeah, if Harry's got the horse, he can do it the first year. If it doesn't go very well, I'll do it the next year on that.
We'll see.
Okay, we've got questions have come in from Charles Owen fans, come in via Instagram. So I've got a few questions for you here. Tamara_eventing_Maddie. How many horses have you guys got?
To be honest, it's always kind of changing.
And that's what I was going to say. I bet it is quite fluid, isn't it, in terms of because you're sisters.
A lot of our rider are trade horses, and they come in maybe for a week, and then they're sold. So it's always changing week to week. I've got a lot of young horses at the moment.
How many top horses have you got now? How many will you take to Centaur there? Good ones.
I've got one older horse here and 3 young ones.
That didn't help at all, did it?
You're at a show, obviously. Yeah, Harry, you're at a show right now, aren't you, in Belgium?
In the track, so that's why the bad lighting and stuff. But yeah, I'd like to keep between about 8 or 10 horses, maybe.
That you're competing?
Not this year, obviously, it's a bit different, but
yeah.
Last year I was on the road, I think, nearly 40 weeks out of 52.
Wow.
And you do need a lot of horses to be able to juggle them, because it's so demanding, the circuit, especially at top level. So, I mean, out of those 8, maybe 3 or 4 are young horses as well. So we always have to keep them on ticking over in the background, because they're the stars, are going to take over. So
yeah. Sure. What about you, Jack?
So I probably have like 4 better ones now to go and jump. Like they're probably going to jump Grand Prix. I probably have 2 like 5-star Grand Prix, and then the rest, like, I have 2 others that can do 4-star Grand Prix and everything else, And then, as Harry said, like, it varies a lot. Like I could have 10 or 5 at show. It really depends. It really varies with young horses. Like, because me and my dad swap young horses a lot and stuff like that. So I'd say like a day that I'd probably ride the same like 8 or 9 horses that I probably stay with, and there's 1 or 2 or 3 more that we swap around a bit on, and
yeah
stuff like that,
And Mia Dixon wants to know, who's your favourite horse?
I love them all.
My favourite horse is the Iluka.
Why?
He's just weird. He's like a cool, like, I like when we bought him, it was my kind of I had to say for buying him, and I produced him a bit there, and like now he's going on doing good things, and he's like a funny horse as well. So if I had to pick a favourite, which probably shouldn't, but I had to pick a favourite, it'd probably be him.
Yeah. How about you, Harry?
I can't really. I think I can pick.
You can pick a favourite, big numpty.
I don't know. I love them all. Maybe one maybe is a bit more special to me. He's only 7. Is Sherlock. We have 5-year-old, and I'm the only one that's ridden him, really.
You think quite highly of him, don't you?
Yes, I do, and I hope he'll reach the top level, but time will tell. So he's here with me now, actually, in the show. So I'll be taking my time with him a bit.
Sure.
But yeah, I've produced him since 5-year-old, so it'd be lovely. It'd be amazing to produce one up to the top level. So hopefully time will tell, and hopefully everything stays the way it is. But with him, so yeah, we'll see. A few years.
And HVC_question wants to know, what's it like getting ready for an international show? And you said you spend 40 weeks out of 52 on the road. I mean, that's insane. What's it like getting ready for these shows? And actually, how involved are you in getting ready, or do you just turn up and everything's all done for you?
I wish. Do you want to go first, Jack?
That's a big job.
Yeah.
The Lorry, like, so sorting out like health papers as well. You have to think about, and vaccinations and all this different stuff. Like twice, I don't organise any of that. If I did it, I'd probably get it wrong. My mum sorts all that out.
Is it your mum?
Yeah, she sorts the vaccinations and health papers and all that out. I know I'm looking at and everything, but if I had to sort it out, I'd probably get it wrong. So she does all that, but then the lorry packing and everything else, it's a big job. And it's always, and it's also as well, if you're going away for a few weeks, you have to weigh up whether you take shavings or you don't take shavings. You buy it when you get there, and so a lot of organising different situations, and it depends where you're going and what horses you're taking.
Logistical nightmare.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, everything here as well is I try my hardest to plan it, but
I think I could work for DHL now after.
You think what? Sorry, Harry.
I'd probably work for DHL after.
So the amount of equipment you get into them lorries as well is like.
I mean, I had to drive a 2-horse out here, just no horses, just full of equipment.
Yeah, exactly.
And because obviously, Harry, you've got your 2 sisters as well, so it's a big, the whole family, I guess, are going along. Yeah.
I mean, I was a bit broken up from the girls that I kind of did a different show, but now we're kind of all doing the same shows, so it's so much to organise. We're going to shows like more than 10 horses, which is actually a nightmare to organise.
Yes.
Two grooms.
And I can nearly guarantee every time we turn up to a show, one horse is entered in the wrong class or in the wrong section. Every single time. Yeah. Every single time.
Whose fault's that, Jack? Who are you blaming?
Well, probably mine, right? You're not copping on quick enough. But then I could say Mum, but she'd give me beating, so I couldn't say it.
Yeah, best not say that, especially not on camera. Yeah, don't say that. So we've got a question here from Mabel_EQ. Do you get nervous, and what do you do to help cope with your nerves? Jack is an emphatic yes. Then.
Yeah, I get very nervous actually. I think just because the pressure you put on yourself when you really want. Because whenever I go in one of the big Grand Prix, you really want to win. You really want to jump clear, and the pressure you put on yourself to do so. Like I think like when I go in some classes, I think I can win. As well, I like to think that I can have a good chance of winning. You know, so when I don't, it's like it's my fault. You know, so I try and so the nerves. But I think like it's like my dad always said it was a good thing if you're nervous. Because you want to win. If you're not nervous, then you don't, and you shouldn't really not be there. But yeah, exactly. You want to win, and exactly. You show you care. And I think just to get over it, you've got to be really, really focused on what you're trying to do. And when you go in the ring, you know exactly you got a plan, and you know exactly how to pull it off. You know.
So how do you cope with your nerves? Have you got any particular techniques or?
I just go through my plan a few times. I actually try and put the nerves in the back of my head a little bit. I think. When I go into the ring, I just think about what I've got to do instead of the nerves. But to me, it's like I don't know if it's the same for Harry if he gets nervous or what. But when I'm coming to the first fence and I jump the first fence, it all goes away. I don't know what I'm thinking about. I know obviously I'm thinking about what I've got to do, but I couldn't tell you what I was thinking going around the course when I came out. You know.
Yeah. How about you, Harry?
Never really. Maybe when I was younger, but to be honest, I don't really get to.
You don't get nervous.
I can get the butterfly effect a little bit, but not like.
That's nerves. When you get butterflies, that's nerves.
Yeah, but not.
But even like if you were at the Global Champions Tour and you're jumping on, you were on one of the teams, weren't you? The Celtics, is that right?
Yeah.
You're jumping on a team with, I imagine, some pretty big names. Who was on your team with you?
I had Shane Breen, Jessica Springsteen, Michael Duffy, and Will Witt. Which is,
impressive lineup.
Yeah, very good. It was a great team. And
do you not then,
because I'm good friends. I'm good friends with them all. So it's kind of like start jumping with your buddy.
But but it's just, I guess, it's the pressure of knowing you're.
Yeah, I try to turn it. I don't really get. I can get pumped quite easily. I get pumped up quite easily. So maybe that's a different thing, but.
So I guess that's a positive, isn't it? Because you're taking the adrenaline and you're turning it into positive energy, which is great.
Yeah, but then that maybe sometimes I get a bit, it's in the collecting. If I can't get a fence when I want it, I get a bit angry and stressed, just before, maybe it turns into a bit of stress, I don't know.
Yes.
But when you're in the zone, I think you're in the zone and nothing can really distract you.
Yeah. Seb_K wants to know, I don't know if you've ever won a car or not.
That's my mate. Don't
No way! That's so funny. Is that really?
Yeah, he's on my. Don't even. What's the question? Don't put this in.
There's nothing embarrassing. It's nothing embarrassing. That is great. Who's got the coolest car?
I don't know.
You've got the coolest car, you big numpty.
Yeah, I got a nice car. Yeah.
Right, what do you drive, Harry?
I got a Merc.
Nice. Jack, what do you drive?
A Polo.
There's no shame in that, Jack. What is your favourite Charles Owen helmet? Do you have a favourite helmet?
The one I ride.
What do you know? Do you know what? Yeah. Do you know what?
It's classic, like 88.
Air 8.
Is it the Air 8?
Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah.
It's like carbon fibre kind of like print. It's really nice.
Yeah. And why do you like it?
It's comfortable and it looks quite cool as well.
Jack?
Yeah, very comfy, very stylish, and I like how it's not too heavy, but it's there. It's nice. I find that the helmet is very extremely safe as well. I feel like obviously you get your fair amount of falls in this sport. I've had my fair share.
Around my head and it's been great. I had the horse kick me in my head a few times with the hat on, and I've not really felt it until I've seen the hoof prints on the helmet afterwards. So I have to say it's doing its job very well.
Okay, right at the end, questions that we ask everyone on the Charles Owen podcast, okay? And I'll ask you both the same question. So first of all, seeing as Harry, you're on camera at the moment, I'm happiest when? When are you happiest?
Probably not a show.
What exactly is it about being at a show that you
I don't know.
love?
It's just like, well, you work all week or all year, and you're at a show, you're in your kind of element, really. it's what you like strive for. You've got a crowd watching you. You've got, it's great. It's you're in your element, I'd say. So that's where I'm happiest.
Jack, how about you?
Chinese.
Chinese.
No.
Eating Chinese.
Yeah. I can totally understand how he's coming from. Like when you get to a show, especially when you're at like Olympia or somewhere, and like the light, you're ready to jump, you're in the stands, the lights come down, the music starts playing, like the adrenaline you get from that. You're about to go in this arena and try your hardest. It's a fantastic feeling.
I wouldn't say that you're happiest. You're at your most focused, maybe, but I would.
Yeah, but it's difficult. It's same kind of.
But you look back on
feelings.
I think some of this you retrospectively can enjoy it, can't you? Because in the moment, either it's adrenaline or fear, but it's afterwards that you can then bask in the glory of the moment. And also, imagine for you guys, what's so great about these shows is you're with your mates, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's another very good. I'm also very happy then. We're always.
Jack still haven't been to a 5-star show together, which is something.
You haven't?
Yeah. No, we haven't actually.
Been to the same 5-star show.
So have you been on teams together?
No.
Pony
yeah,
teams?
like
we've been on. We've been on
teams
youth teams together. Yeah, we've been on youth teams together.
Again, same question to both of you. Jack, you're on camera now, so I'll ask you. If you hadn't been a show jumper, which is kind of obviously quite likely coming from the Whitakers, but your two sisters aren't show jumpers, so if you hadn't been a show jumper, what would you have been?
I was very, very big into football before I started riding.
You're any good at it?
I was at Notts Forest there for a bit. I basically had to make a decision. I had to make a decision really, because I was playing football a lot and I was riding a lot, so I had to make a decision there which one I had to choose. But also, I was also very interested in a bit weird, but when I was at school, I was always interested in sports psychology and all that kind of stuff. I never did university, but that's what I did all my exams for, was to go study psychology, university, and everything. But obviously, never happened. But I was always very interested in all that kind of stuff.
Harry, how about you?
Probably I'd have been a pilot.
Oh, really? That you like to have done?
Yeah, I always love planes and stuff, and I'm kind of doing my my private pilot's license now.
Oh, fantastic!
So it's always something I really want to do, and if it probably would be my backup. So yeah, that's probably what I'd have done.
So Harry now can pick me up on the way past.
Well, you live above me, so how's that going to work?
Yeah, but still, you're in a plane. You can come get me.
It's just a small detour.
I don't know if I'll make that detour.
It's just a small detour.
You're in a plane. You're in a plane.
Would be quite funny going to a show in a. I don't know if it'd get across the channel. It's only got one engine.
And guys, we had this one question which we normally ask, which we can't ask you because it's what I wish I'd known 10 years ago, which obviously, Jack, you've been 8, so maybe, and Harry, you were 11. So what I would say is what you wish you'd known maybe 5 years ago, or even what you wish you'd known when you first started competing, when you first made the transition to horses. Is there something that, looking back for your younger self, that you wish you'd known that you know now?
You got to think, not everyone is your friend. Maybe that's... a lot of people, when you're at the bottom, I don't know.
Go on. And so, in what ways? So you've experienced.
Yeah.
In what way?
When you're at the top, I feel when you're at the top, everyone wants to be your friend and everyone wants to, have something to do with you and stuff. But when you're grinding, working hard, trying to get, it's a bit different. So. Maybe I was a bit naive to it at the start when I came, but now I see it quite clearly, and who wants to latch onto you and stuff, and they drop you easy enough when you're not doing as well. I have a lot of friends who actually around me at home who don't ride, who I'm very close to them, so it's sometimes nice to get away from everyone in the sport and have a bit of time, But then I have a few very good friends, Jack included, who I trust very highly in the sport. So yeah, I think having a very small but very good group of friends is very important. People you trust. If you put yourself around good people, I think you get good things.
Totally. No, that's great. Thank you. That's really honest of you, and I like the fact that we went a bit deep. So that's great. Well done. Jack, how about you? Follow that, Jack.
Yeah. I think Harry's right there. Choose who you're listening to. I think a bit. Also, and don't treat every day like it's your last. like you got to understand that there's always going to be another day and another, like a bit saying a bit before there's always going to be another round and another class, another Grand Prix. You know, it's not always the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we talked about earlier, didn't we, that thing of when it goes wrong, of not getting stuck in that.
Like when I was younger, there was times like you can spend a whole week pondering over what happened on the last Sunday in the Grand Prix, you know, when it was your fault or whatever. And I think like you ruin your next show nearly worrying about too much what happened on with the last one, you know. So I think you got to forget about it nearly.
Yeah, and the thing is, Jack, you're 18, so I'm not being funny. Goodness me, we'll ask you that question in 10 years' time or 20 years' time, you know? When you're 38, we can say, what have you learned since when I first interviewed you, you were 18? You know, I think asking you to find out, to explain what you've learned when you're only 18, the whole point is, it's amazing for both of you. You're both so young, but you've got, you know, old head and young shoulders. And I think, again, it's testament, I said, to your parents for keeping you so grounded in what can be quite a crazy world, you know, travel and exciting and big prize money. And thank you to your parents for producing such nice boys.
Yeah, they're
so very nice boys. And we really do wish you the best of luck. We can't wait to see you both at a 5-star together. I'm not sure who I put my money on, I've got to be honest. And thank you for taking time out to speak to Charles Owen. It's been really, really great. And I hope to catch up with you soon. And just good luck for the season.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you so much.